Welcome back to another video. Lots to talk about today, starting off with the newest announcement for Xbox Game Pass, plus some more information on some big games that are in development that will be coming out, some free updates as well, and lots of talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. It looks like an announcement is imminent, hopefully in the next month or so. But before we continue, if you do enjoy gaming news, content, all of that stuff, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, share the video, and check out my Spotify. Link is in the description. So we will start off here with the latest round of Xbox Game Pass games coming over to the service. And as you can see here right off of the bat, it looks like they have somewhat of a new graphic here when they are announcing these games. There usually was like a white background and it would say cloud, console, and PC highlighted depending on where it was being released. But obviously with the changes to Xbox Game Pass, they come out here and it tells you which service it is on. So here are the three games that are coming. You have Wargroove 2, Ara History Untold, and Frostpunk 2. What's interesting about these three games, two of them are day one games that are History Untold and Frostpunk 2, and they are coming to Ultimate and PC Game Pass. And then under that, you can kind of see where these games are playable. So for Wargroove 2, it is console, PC, and cloud. For Our History Untold, it's PC, and for Frostpunk 2, it is PC. Wargroove 2 is on September 19th, so tomorrow you'll be able to play it. Frostpunk 2, day one on September 20th, coming to PC Game Pass, and then Our History Untold as well is day one, coming on September 24th. If you are into these PC strategy styles of games, this is a great announcement for you. Lots of good games here in Game Pass, especially with a game like Age of Mythology Retold that dropped down, which is a phenomenal one. I've been playing that. So cool stuff here. I mean, three games is not a huge release, but we are, as we know, heading into a huge time of the year for Xbox and Xbox Game Pass with a game like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 dropping day one, Indiana Jones dropping day one, Stalker 2. Like, it is going to be a phenomenal end of the year for the Xbox platform and for Xbox Game Pass. But here are the latest releases here when it comes to the second half of September and what games are going to be coming over. Now, besides that announcement, there was also Overwatch 2. It is coming to Xbox Game Pass September 17th, so it is out there right now. You can go ahead and play. But with this release here, there was exclusive benefits that got dropped for Overwatch 2. So if you link your accounts to play this game, your Blizzard account and your Game Pass account, you're going to be able to receive benefits. So you're going to get 6 hero skins: Cardboard Reinhardt, Turtle Ship Diva, Cyber Dragon Hanzo, Street Runner Genji, Bee, Mercy, and Cleric Lifeweaver. There's going to be 30 Mythic Prisms, an additional 10% XP boost, and access to select Overwatch 2 shop cosmetics from the past 3 seasons. So this is one of the things that, when it comes to Xbox Game Pass, I think is a big advantage that Xbox needs to take advantage of with all of their first-party games that do get releases. Sure, you put those games everywhere on different platforms, like Overwatch 2 is obviously on PlayStation as well, and these games that have been on other platforms previously are going to stay on those platforms. But what the draw is to signing up to Game Pass and to getting into the Xbox ecosystem with these first-party titles is going to be these exclusive benefits that come along with it. You think of a thing like with the whole Riot connection that they did have with the Valorant, where you're getting all of the characters, stuff like that is a major draw to Game Pass, all of the perks that come with it. I think a lot of people kind of overlook as one of the benefits of signing up for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So pretty cool there. You get these things here. If you are an Overwatch 2 player and you have your accounts linked and everything, you're going to get access to some skins and some additional XP boost. All right, jumping over here, we're going to talk about one of the biggest first-party games that Xbox now owns here, and that is Diablo 4. Just the Diablo franchise. It's pretty staggering how much money this game does bring in, and it's one of those franchises that I'm sure when they were trying to purchase ABK, they were looking at as one of the key games to be able to own from the console and PC side of things, but also from the mobile side of things with a game like Diablo Immortal. But here we're talking about Diablo 4, and we have learned here that the sales revenue have already exceeded $1 billion, and 15% of that comes from microtransactions. So people have purchased the game and then already went after and spent more money on the game that they've already purchased. Now, we do know this isn't Game Pass now, so you can go play Diablo 4 in Game Pass. So if you want to just play it that way, it's absolutely a good way to do it. But we have this, and this is from LinkedIn, and the senior product manager here for Diablo 4 they have in their description saying, leading the monetization strategy of the store cosmetic pricing, bundle offers personalized discounts and roadmap planning, which have driven over 150 million microtransactions lifetime revenue. And then they've resulted in overall 1 billion total lifetime revenue, which is still a huge number here that Diablo has been driving. Now, the DLC is coming out, the Vessel of Hatred, and that is coming out on October 8th. You'll see obviously a huge uptick there. But these are the type of things that when you look at the competition, when you look at PlayStation, they see games like Diablo, they see games like Call of Duty, and they are thinking, how do we compete on that level with games that will generate consistent revenue over a long period of time? They were hoping Concord potentially would have been that one with a multiplayer games as a service style game that clearly ended up as an abysmal failure. And you have to ask yourself, what is next from the multiplayer games as a service side from PlayStation? What risks are they going to take? Because Bungie, they have Destiny, which is huge for them. They're going to have some more things out there. Marathon, we've been hearing about recently, potentially them deciding how they want to sell this game, whether it's the $40 price tag, or is it going to be a free-to-play game and then probably throw in microtransactions that will get people to pay that way. It'll be an interesting thing to see how it unfolds, but PlayStation needs to have some competition in this style of game because everyone looks at just the consoles, but there's a much bigger picture when it comes to first-party content and the revenue that it does drive. All right, let's jump over here. Let's talk EA and some news here for a couple of games. First of all, Battlefield. As we know, Battlefield 2042 was supposed to be their big comeback. I don't think it did as well as they wanted it to. And obviously, they're still trying to get back where they can compete with Call of Duty. Hasn't gotten there yet, but there was a time when Battlefield was a direct competitor with Call of Duty, and every year people will be choosing which one they wanted to play. And it looks like they are trying really hard in the next one to get back to that by going back to where they were successful. We have the first official details on the next Battlefield as the game was revealed to be returning to modern day combat. This is an interview between IGN and Vincent Pella confirming many of the details that we've heard about before, but here is what it says. There's going to be a return to the classic Battlefield and back to the basics of the game, a return to 64 player maps, going back to the class-based system, and they are aiming for a 2025 release. So that sounds pretty cool. I hope that when this next Battlefield does come out, it is something that ends up being good and ends up being successful. They can't have another launch like they have with Battlefield 2042, which just had tons of technical issues. So for a lot of people, they jumped in and they fell off and never went back because there's just so much choice out there for first-person shooters. So when you're releasing one of these games, they need to pretty much hit right off of the bat. They can't have a huge lull at the launch of it, or people are just going to go back to playing what they are playing. And Zampella also continues here. He talks more about the basics approach. He says, I mean, if you look back to the peak of the pinnacle of Battlefield, it is Battlefield 3 and the Battlefield 4 era, which those were phenomenal, where everything was modern. And I think we have to get back to the core of what Battlefield is and do that amazingly well. And then we'll see where it goes from there. But I think for me, it's the peak of the Battlefieldness is in the Battlefield 3 and 4 days. So I think it's nostalgic for players, for me, for the teams even. Those are the kind of heyday, although I would say 1942 also. So there you have it, going back to the basics for the next Battlefield. But what else is interesting is they have 4 teams that are going to be developing this game, or are developing these next Battlefield. This is from EA's Investor Day 2024. We got more information about the development of this game. It says, according to the company, DICE will focus on the game's multiplayer online. Motive, which was announced to be moving to Battlefield earlier this year, will work on the game's single player offering. Criterion Games worked on Battlefield 5 in 2042, as well as Need for Speed franchise is working on both single player and multiplayer. And lastly, Ripple Effect is working on a new experience that will be announced in the future. So lots of teams working on this. I think they are going all in with this Battlefield. They need this one to be successful, so they're putting everything that they have towards it. A new experience, though, is going to be something interesting. It's probably not a battle royale because we've already seen that within Battlefield. So they're probably coming up with something just brand new that we haven't seen, which is pretty exciting if you are a Battlefield fan. I'm very interested in how the single player campaign is going to be, because at this point, I love the single player campaigns Think about Bad Company. Those were really, really cool. You think about Battlefield 3. That game had some cool single player stuff and graphically was phenomenal. So I'm excited for what comes next for Battlefield, and it's just going to be another game that I hope does compete with Call of Duty. They're putting it out in 2025, it looks like. I mean, that's what they're projecting that it is going to come out. I wonder when in 2025 they would consider releasing this. Are they going to release it in the same time frame as Call of Duty? Or are they going to put it in its own time slot so they kind of get their own spotlight when it does launch? Now, that's not all that we learned from EA. We also learned a couple of other awesome things. Respawn is working on one more Star Wars Jedi game. So if you're a fan of the Star Wars Jedi series, looks like a third one is coming out. Here's what they say. Respawn is working hard to bring the final chapter of this thrilling story to players. And in addition to the confirmation of one more Star Wars Jedi game from Respawn, they say here that the series had over 40 million players since the first game launched in 2019. So very successful, phenomenal games. So not surprising that they are making a new one, sold well. That's going to happen after the success of it. And then finally, from EA's point of view, Skate, a game I can't wait to play. Happy it's coming back. Loved the first 3 ones, but we now know it is officially launching into early access next year. They put out this tweet here and say, we're incredibly stoked to announce that Skate will be launching in early access in 2025, and we'll share more details on what to expect in the coming months. So basically, if you do want to get into this, you can sign up on the Skate Insider website, and there's more information there. And that they say over the last 2 years, the team has welcomed tens of thousands of individual playtesters into the city of San Amsterdam via the PC version, with console playtesting set to come in the fall of 2024. So early access coming in 2025. Go sign up if you are interested in Skate. So that was some interesting EA gaming news, or EA Games news, that we are going to have to look forward to. Now let's talk Astrobot, because when Astrobot first came out and they first showed it off, I thought that the game was going to be very good. And I was happy to see PlayStation making something different, something that looked just pure fun, get away from the cinematics and basically the movie games, and give us fun gameplay. That's what Astrobot is. That's what Astrobot ended up being. I mean, people are saying it is game of the year. A lot of that stuff going on with this game. The question though, however, with the PlayStation fan base, they've been kind of conditioned to want those movie style of video games. So how well was this going to sell? It looks like it is doing pretty good. As it says, it had a solid first week in the US, with the sales trailing only NBA 2K5. So this here comes via, I believe, Circana, and their sales analysis that they do put out, Matt Piscatella, says across both physical and digital, Astrobot ranked second in unit sales in the US for the week of ending September 7th, behind only NBA 2K5. And the Astrobot DualSense was the week's best-selling accessory. Not surprising. I think even if people didn't play Astrobot, they maybe went out and bought this controller because it looks very cool. I mean, it's a very nice looking controller. And then if we look at the UK, it's a similar story here. It did come in at number 2 as well, and it sold 21% higher than the debut of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart in 2021, which is kind of surprising because Ratchet & Clank, I think, is a bigger IP. I love the Ratchet & Clank series, but it was second here behind Space Marine 2, which again, another game that is looking phenomenal. And it is the UK's fastest selling Warhammer game. The Space Marine 2 is, beating Total War Warhammer 3. So Astrobot overall is doing very well, critically, commercially, all of that stuff. And I think this is good because this is going to signal to PlayStation to make more games like this. So we're not going to continue to get the remakes and remasters of the same stuff over and over again. I really hope this means that we will get some more creative games, maybe jump into the back catalog of PlayStation games, bring those out and develop some new ones. That's what my hopes are here for the success of Astrobot. The other thing is the development cost for this game, I would guess, is far less than a lot of their other games. So they're going to make a lot of money off of it, which again would incentivize PlayStation to try and want to make more of these styles of games. So good that Astrobot is selling well. Okay, let's talk the Nintendo Switch 2. It looks like it is coming sooner rather than later, at least an announcement for it. We have this here on Twitter from Okami13 saying lots of Switch 2 talk in the air lately. A group of developers was seemingly invited to Nintendo of America yesterday, and there's a talk of a September Direct. You can see here, this is Liam Robertson and I believe he posted this on Blue Sky, saying seems a lot of developers got invited to Nintendo of America yesterday. And you have John Fairhurst or Limited Run saying, we had an awesome visit to Nintendo of America today. I'm grateful that we have such great partners at Nintendo of America. So the Switch 2 is imminent. I mean, we're seeing rumors of it with like a dual screen and all this type of stuff. You don't know how much of these technical rumors are true. If you do remember back to the OG Nintendo Switch, when there was those 3D printed controllers / screens that were coming out, and people were thinking that was what the Nintendo Switch was going to be like, and obviously wasn't anything like that. So when it comes to the actual leaks of the Switch 2 and what it looks like and what it will feature, it's hard to tell whether any of it is true. I'm guessing it's just going to be an upgraded current Nintendo Switch, maybe some new Joy-Cons and maybe a better screen with the new screen technology between 2017 and now. So we will see, but an announcement is coming soon. I don't think it'll be anywhere. It's not going to be a powerful console. Hopefully it'll have backwards compatibility. It'll just continue off with the success of the current Nintendo Switch. And finally, we have a nice upgrade here for Darksiders 2. You get a free remastered upgrade for the Xbox Series X and S. They came out and announced it. I love when companies do this. Just a free upgrade for a game that is already out there to give people a new experience to be able to jump back in. They say here that for those who are interested, picking up Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition is actually 50% off right now on the Xbox Store for the next 27 days. And the update version comes on October 15th, which is just next month. And what this update will bring is experience the feature and content-rich adventure in beautiful 4K, enhanced by the use of ray tracing and delivering vastly improved lighting and shadows. And they are going to be utilizing the SSD speeds with better loading, faster loading, which is always a good thing. One of the best things about this generation of consoles. But if you do want to pick it up, I think it's $15 right now. It's a cool game and you get a free upgrade, 4K, all that type of stuff. So excited and happy that this is happening, as the Darksiders games are awesome. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.